Hey everyone, look what I have. Yes, it's the Freewell filter mega pack for my Mini 4 Pro. And I've been waiting for this ever since I got my Mini 4 and realized my Mini 3 filters didn't fit. And now that it's arrived, before I go out and capture some sample footage with these filters that you're going to see coming up in this video, I just wanted to take a look and see what's included in the mega pack. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about why we use ND filters because there's a ton of videos out there already that cover that topic in a whole lot of detail. But basically, we use ND filters or neutral density filters to reduce the amount of light hitting our camera sensor. And we do this to control exposure because the Mini 4, like the Mini 3, has a fixed f1.7 aperture, which means to adjust your exposure, you only have your ISO or shutter speed to work with. So if you're out filming in normal daylight without an ND filter, you'll have to have a very high shutter speed in order to get correct exposure. And the reason you want to avoid this is high shutter speeds create very sharp images, and if your footage has a lot of motion, it will tend to look a little digitized or even jittery at times. And the reason for this is it doesn't have that natural motion blur that we see with our eyes, which can be recreated with lower shutter speeds. Now that's enough about why we use ND filters. Anyways, I'm Mark Kapanen and I make videos all about helping you capture and create more captivating content. And if that's something you're interested in, then you'll want to subscribe down below and click that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my upcoming videos with more tips on how you can capture and create that captivating content. Anyways, let's have a look and see what's included with the Mega Pack. Now, you have 6 regular ND filters, that's ND 16 through 512 and an ND 1000. You have 5 ND polarizing filters, a clear polarizing filter. You also have a UV filter, a light pollution reduction filter, and a snow mist filter. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but according to Freewell, it adds a dreamy and ethereal ambience to your footage. So I'm going to test that out and you're going to get to see what it looks like. Now, the light pollution reduction filter, also according to Freewell, it helps counteract that undesirable effect of artificial light, allowing you to capture stunning nightscapes with remarkable clarity. Now, I have had a chance to capture some pretty cool downtown skylines at night with my Mini 4, but I did notice some of the glow coming off the bright lights on the buildings was a bit excessive. So I'm hoping this light pollution filter might be able to sharpen those images a bit and get rid of some of that unwanted glow. Now, as far as the regular ND filters, I'll probably get the most use out of the ND 16 and the ND 32. Because when I'm out filming in normal daylight, the ND 16 or the ND 32 will allow me to use a shutter speed that I'm comfortable with. It may not be exactly double my frame rate as per the 180-degree rule, but it'll be close enough that I won't notice a difference in my footage. Now moving on to the polarizing filters, I'm pretty eager to try these out because I never had polarizing filters for my Mini 3. I only had the all-day 8-pack, which included a bunch of these regular ND filters. And I did notice when I was out filming on sunny days around water or anywhere there was reflective surfaces, I often got a lot of unwanted reflection, and I always wondered if these polarizing filters could help remove a lot of that unwanted reflection. So now I have them for my Mini 4, and I'm going to get to try them out, and you're going to get to see how they work. Now, there's one other filter in this pack that I wanted to talk about, and that's the UV filter. It's supposed to protect your lens from harmful UV rays, but for me personally, I will just use it for secondary protection on my lens anytime I'm not using any of these other filters. Because if you look at your cover that comes on your camera for your Mini 4, like the Mini 3, and if you've never taken one of these off before, what you want to do is grab the camera with one hand, grab the cap with the other, and twist slightly counterclockwise, and you'll feel it click and it just pops off. And to put it back on, you just fit it on an angle, twist it slightly clockwise, and you'll feel it snap into place. But now, if you look at this cover, it's hollow. There's nothing there to protect your camera lens. So when you're taking off and you're landing and there's dust and debris flying around, who knows what can come into contact with that lens. So you just want to do everything you can to try and protect it. And if you always have a filter over it, if that filter gets damaged, that filter is much easier to replace than your camera lens. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to pack my things up so I can go out and capture some sample footage with these filters. So sit tight and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And I got a bunch of footage using different filters from this pack so I can try and show you the effect these different filters have on your footage. Now to keep things simple, I shot all this footage in Pro mode with the shutter speed in auto, and there's been no adjustment made to any of the footage. Now I mentioned motion blur earlier, and I wanted to demonstrate this, so I have a couple clips I want to show you. The first clip was shot with no filter and therefore has a very high shutter speed of 1/3200. The second clip was shot with an ND32 and has a much lower shutter speed of 1/100. And as you watch the clips through, you may notice a subtle difference between the two. But where the effects of shutter speed become very obvious is when you freeze the clips. And now as we look at the first clip shot at a very high shutter speed, the image is very sharp and you can see all the detail in the shot. And now as we switch to the second clip shot at a much lower shutter speed, the image appears blurry, which is essentially how we see motion with our eyes and what looks natural. I also wanted to show a comparison of footage shot without an ND filter and footage shot with an ND filter. And if you look at the footage shot without a filter, the water and the sky appear to be a deeper blue. But as we come up off of the water, the footage shot with the filter appears to have more saturation in the landscape. So a lot of it just comes down to what look you're trying to capture. So now I want to show a comparison between footage shot with a regular ND filter and footage shot with a polarizing filter. And in this example, I would say the reflections are a little bit muted, but keep in mind that a polarizing filter is most effective when filming at 90 degrees to the sun. So depending on your orientation relative to the sun, you may not be getting any polarizing effect from your filter. So to better demonstrate how polarizing filters work, I shot two clips of a car windshield. The first one with the polarizing filter on, and you can see the windshield is almost completely transparent with little to no reflections. And as we switch to the second clip with the polarizing filter off, you can see the reflections of clouds all the way across that windshield. And now, to film that second clip, all I did was rotate the filter lens by 90 degrees. And that's one thing you want to make sure of when you're using these polarizing filters is that that lens is in the correct orientation. And as you can see, there's a white dot on the rim of the lens and an H and a V on the body of the filter. And when you're filming in horizontal, you want to rotate that lens so the dot lines up with the H. And if you're filming in vertical, you want to line it up with the V. Now, the next comparison I want to show you is footage shot with no filter and footage shot with the snow mist filter. And I think the snow mist filter adds an interesting look to your footage that could be useful in certain situations. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, I also have some night footage I was able to capture using the light pollution reduction filter, so I wanted to show you a comparison of footage shot in night mode with no filter and footage shot in night mode with the light pollution filter. And I can definitely see a difference, but it's not exactly what I was expecting. So maybe I need to do some more experimenting. And really, I think that's one of the main things we need to remember, is that this is all about experimentation and trying different things in different scenarios to try and figure out what creates that specific look you're trying to capture for that scene. And that's about all I have for the Freewell Mega Pack for now. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you got any value from it, please like and subscribe. And until the next one, keep creating that captivating content.